Congrats, man. It couldn't have gone much better than that, could it?
No, man. I really don't think it could have. It's been a long time going, though, right? I felt everything in there. I saw everything in there. There was something about this week. There was something about preparation, meeting opportunity. I know everyone's heard it a million times, but, man, you've seen it. A lot of y'all have seen it. I've cut my teeth in this industry for a long time. I've been preserved. My brain, my body, my will to win has been preserved for such a time as this. And it all showed tonight. Stepped into that octagon first time. And listen, I've been nervous in a lot of fights in my career. And a lot of times it's because I've had a lot to lose. You've seen those matchups, a lot to lose. And nothing to lose tonight, man. Top 5 lightweight, Dan Hooker. Of course, there was a ton of pressure, but I didn't feel it. I was there. My feet on that octagon canvas, man, rubbing my back on that cage, drinking a little bit of water, team there. I felt at home, and onward and upward. Can't wait for the next one.
That's surprising because it was crazy. Like watching you walk out, you just like nonstop smile on your face. You know what I mean? I don't know if I've ever seen you quite that happy walking into a fight.
Yeah, I halfway was a little bit, nervous, waiting for one of my coaches to be like, "Hey, man, settle down. You're about to get into a fist fight in front of millions of people." But it just let the emotions run wild. I was crying back in the back, like happy tears. Thinking about my wife, thinking about my son, thinking about this opportunity, thinking about this platform, thinking about how God has had me in the palm of His hand since I was a young man, and there's been a lot of ups and a lot of tough times, but they have all led me to this, and I just feel so grateful, so humbled by the opportunity to go out there, finish top 5 lightweight. We'll see what's next. I mean, you guys heard me. I would love for Khabib to come back. A little bit. I get it. I haven't earned the right for him to think that he is not levels above me yet with just that performance. But I promise you, I could beat that man. I promise you, if he steps into the octagon with me, he becomes 29 in Chandler and not 30-0. So we will see.
I guess you probably heard Dana. I mean, that was exactly what he said, right?
I did. Yeah, I did. I was right over there.
That burned you a little bit?
It did. And man, but as I've said too, and I looked right into all these other cameras and just said, listen, Khabib, you are the greatest of all time. You are the GOAT. You are undefeated. You have looked unbeatable. You are right. None of these guys can hold a candle to you. What are you going to do? Come back and rematch one of these guys? It's not going to happen. You don't need to do that. You're a champion. But when a guy who shows that he's got a wrestling pedigree, when a guy who comes in and shows, yeah, he's not undefeated. Listen, I'm not undefeated. I wear my L's on my sleeve. I got 5 of them. A couple of them were weird stoppages, TKO, injury, defaults, whatever you call them. But every single time I've come back better. I'm by no means a perfect man inside that cage, inside that octagon. But I promise you I can beat that man. I promise you I can beat Khabib. So I told him, I didn't tell him personally, but I told him through the camera lens, listen, you've earned every right to be able to sail off into the sunset and continue your, living your life and making your impact because you've done it thus far. But, man, if you ever do come back, there's a man over here waiting for you from High Ridge, Missouri.
Last thing for me, I mean, clearly the Khabib fight would be the one. But if not, I'm sure you heard Dana say it looks like, hey, you and Dustin for the championship might make sense. Does that appeal to you?
Of course, man. Dustin, there is not a man on this roster that I respect more than Dustin Poirier. Borderline a fan of the man, we sat next to each other before weigh-ins, just talking about our wives, our kids, our life. Like, I'm talking to him about my groove ring. I'm like, hey man, what kind of silicone ring you wear? And I'm like, I'm gonna send him a box of these. He's the kind of guy that I would love to go and step into that octagon and beat the freaking crap out of for 25 minutes. We both get bonuses. We both go, kiss our wives and our kids and enjoy our lives. But, he's one of those guys. He's one of the good ones, man. So if that's what Dana wants, who am I to let him down, man? I took 0 damage in this fight. I'm ready to go out there and compete again ASAP, whether it's in the sands of Abu Dhabi or under the bright lights of Las Vegas or anywhere in between. I'm ready.
Michael, right here. How would you compare this victory to you've obviously been in a lot of title fights. The Benson Henderson one was a big one going into your contract. But how would you compare this to your Bellator victories?
This is the greatest victory of my life. Listen, it's you talk about stage, you talk about platform, you talk about opportunity, you talk about tons of doubters, you know, and rightfully so. Tons of people that said I was going to go out there and get my chin kneed into the stands and get sent back to the B leagues and all kinds of stuff. Like, and there was a lot of people saying that, and it's part of it. This one was a satisfying one, and I wasn't here to prove the doubters wrong, but I was here to prove the believers and the supporters and my fans and my family and my followers right. All those people who have followed me since my High Ridge, Missouri days, my Mizzou wrestling days, all the way in through Bellator and now here into the UFC, everybody who has stood by me through thick and thin, through all the ups and all the downs, we did it, and we're moving forward.
Did you get to say anything to Dan after? It seems like he took his gloves off and threw him into the octagon, so we were a little confused about that too.
Yeah, I mean, I just said thank you for the opportunity, man. You're a warrior. He was very down. I'm not a big talk to your opponent after you win. I'm really not. I actually think it's one of the most disrespectful things in the sport. I think it's absolutely the worst when you choke a guy out or you knock him out. As soon as he comes to, you start hugging him and kissing him, and it's just no. Like, let the man take his loss. Let him breathe. Let him do his thing inside of his head. You know, I'm not there to be the holier than thou, great, you know, God of sportsmanship to pick him up when he's dust him off. No, like let him enjoy, not enjoy, but let him deal with what he just went through. Because trust me, I've been through it too, and I don't want anybody to look at me, touch me, talk to me for about a week. So.
And then in the main event, when you're watching, in terms of actually how the fight played out, Conor obviously going for the shoulder strikes, Dustin going for the calf kicks. That was the when it turned. So when you're watching that, was it playing out how you expected? And if not, like, what was going through your mind?
It was. I think Conor was fighting calm, composed, precise, and Dustin kind of seemed like he was buying his time a little bit. I mean, we all know Dustin's a cardio machine. We all know that he can push into those later rounds, and I think that he probably wanted to get into those later rounds unless he got Conor up and against the cage, hit him with a barrage of shots, hit him in the temple, and knocked him down like he did. It was playing out exactly kind of how I thought, you know. The fight materialized exactly how it did, and Dustin Poirier looked phenomenal tonight. Conor will dust himself back off and come on back soon.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.